Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Johnson, the Professor of Military Science, welcome to New Mexico Military Institute and our ceremony honoring New Mexico Military Institute's 2019 Spring Commissionees. We want to welcome today's guest of honor, Lieutenant Colonel Retired United States Army Frederick Eaton, and extend a special welcome to family members, friends, and community leaders who have come to join us on this very special day. At this time, please stand for the entrance of the official party and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem and the invocation given by Chaplain Bigno.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this momentous occasion as we see these young men and women go from cadet status to second lieutenants in the United States Army. Pray that you bless every part of this ceremony, that you would bless the families, and that your hand would be upon each one of these young people as they go forth into their new schools and new assignments. We give you thanks for this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Sergeant Major England. Please be seated. Our official party for today's ceremony includes Major General, United States Army Retired, Jerry Grizzle, New Mexico Military Institute President and Superintendent. Lieutenant Colonel, United States Army Retired, Frederick Eaton. Lieutenant Colonel, United States Army Retired, Jonathan Graff, New Mexico Military Institute, Commandant of Cadets. Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Johnson, Professor of Military Science. In our audience today is the New Mexico Military Institute Board of Regents, Colonel Timothy Paul, Colonel Barbara Trent, Mr. Bradford Christmas, Dr. Cedric Page, and Mr. John Garcia. Other distinguished guests that are joining us today, Brigadier General, United States Air Force Retired, Douglas Murray, Dean of Academics, Colonel Scott Keeley, United States Army Retired, Colonel Joanna Reagan, United States Army Retired, Sergeant Major Mark Kirkland, United States Army Retired, and Captain Bill Glover, United States Army Retired, World War II and Normandy veteran. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for honoring us and our commissionees with your attendance today. Today, we honor the New Mexico Military Institute's Army Reserve Officer Training Corps Class of 2019 commissionees. It's a privilege for the staff, faculty, and the Department of Military Science to commission 25 new second lieutenants into the ranks of the Army from the class of 2019. This year marks the 102nd anniversary since Army ROTC first began at New Mexico Military Institute in 1917. Since then, the Institute has commissioned over 3,000 men and women as second lieutenants. Officers from this institute have fought for freedom in every American war since World War I. Some have made the ultimate sacrifice. History is filled with military officers from this institute, which include 29 flag and general officers. New Mexico Military Institute graduates have gone on to be very successful in both military and civilian careers. The Institute's rich heritage and its legacy will continue, in part, on the shoulders of these new Army officers. At this time, I will introduce the Army ROTC Professor of Military Science, Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Johnson.
We are honored today to have our guest speaker, Lieutenant Colonel Frederick Eaton, U.S. Army retired, junior ROTC, senior Army instructor at Coconut Creek High School in Coconut Creek, Florida. Lieutenant Colonel Fred Eaton joined the Army Signal Corps on 15 October 1990. His first military duty assignment was from 1991 to 1993 as a platoon leader with Charlie Company, 304 Signal Battalion in Camp Colburn, Korea. Then he was assigned to the battalion maintenance officer for 304 Signal Battalion. His next assignment took him to the Republic of Panama, where he was the CESO for HAC 5th Battalion, 87th Infantry, Fort Davis, Panama. He returned to the United States and was assigned to 5th Army at Fort Sam Houston, Texas, where he was assigned to the World Class Athlete Program from 1994 to 1996. He then received his master's degree in education from the University of Montevallo in Montevallo, Alabama. He then served as operations officer for the Miami Recruiting Battalion from 2002 to 2005 and served as assistant professor of military science at Georgia Military College, Milledgeville, Georgia, as a recruiting officer and training officer for the commissioning program. He was then selected as the OIC for Mercer University in Macon, Georgia. He was a plans and program integrator for the headquarters U.S. Army Cadet Command at Fort Knox, Kentucky. He then worked as a G3 Future Operations Director, Army Reserve Operations from 2008 to 2010. He was assigned as Deputy Chief U.S. Army Reserve Operations Officer for headquarters U.S. Army Cadet Command. His final assignment took him to headquarters, Department of Army G3, where he was responsible for the computer programs to provide deployments orders to all Army units worldwide. Lieutenant Colonel Eaton was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Army Signal Corps. He received his associate's and arts degree from New Mexico Military Institute in Roswell, New Mexico, along with his commissioning in 1987. He graduated from the University of Georgia with a bachelor's in science and education. Lieutenant Colonel Eaton graduated from the University of Montevallo with a master's of science and education. His military education includes the Signal Officer Basic Course, the DGM Tri-Track Net Managers Course, the Battalion Brigade Signal Officers Course, Recruiting Operations Officers Course, Staff Officer Course, Signal Corps Advanced Officer Course, and the Command and General Staff College. His awards and decorations include the Meritorious Service Medal, 4 Oak Leaf Clusters, Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, 4 Oak Leaf Clusters, Army Service Reserve Medal with 10-year bronze hourglass, Korean Defense Service Medal, National Defense Service Medal, 2nd Award, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Army Service Ribbon, Overseas Ribbon, and Second Award, Army Staff Identification Badge, German Armed Forces Badge for Military Efficiency, Air Assault Badge. Lieutenant Colonel Eaton is married to the former Miss Helene Kahn, and they have 3 children, Becky, Charlie, and Shelley. He is also a parent of one of our commissionees. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Eaton.
Hey, first, 1, 2. Hey, first of all, good morning. What a beautiful day and a great-looking audience. I can't tell you how excited I am to have been asked to come here and be the commissioning speaker for today. General Grizzle, truly an honor. Colonel Johnson, Colonel Graff, again, I just wanted to put that out there, that this really means a lot to me, being a member of the program, being a member of the NMMI family. But what I'd like to do, first of all, I'd like to recognize, and I remember our commissioning speaker, it was about 32 years ago. I'm trying to remember, some of the things that he said. Mine's a little bit shady on a few things, but one thing I do remember he did, he asked all the parents and the grandparents and the uncles and the aunts and the family members, can you please stand up at this time so we can recognize you for all your hard work? Because hey, thank you very much. Your sons and daughters would not be here today in the position that they're in if it wasn't for you and all your hard work and dedication that you've given them throughout their lives. But again, I want to thank you guys and let you know, from the bottom of my heart that you put out a quality product, and we appreciate that. It is a distinct honor and privilege to be here today as a proud New Mexico Military Institute alumni, class of 1987. Hard to believe it's already been 32 years. This is definitely the road less traveled, but it offers the biggest rewards here. With the opportunity to provide remarks at this year's commissioning class of 2019. Looking at the commissionees today, I can see some bright-eyed, motivated individuals. And I know another thing that I remember from my commissioning speaker, he said, hey, I was the one thing that separated them between their gold bars. So I'll make sure I keep my talk brief. But let me begin by congratulating all of you. This is a significant accomplishment, and I can assure you that your family, friends, and instructors and NMMI leadership are all proud of you. We are joined today by many of your families and friends. Thank you for being here today to participate in the special commissioning ceremony. And looking around, we've got a pretty full auditorium here, so that just shows you the commitment everyone made for today. And thanks for the support and sacrifices you have provided to your NMMI cadets. New Mexico Military Institute offers a rich history and tradition of educating tomorrow's leaders through a program of strong, challenging academics, leadership preparation, and character development. The ROTC program offers cadets the opportunity to receive a commission in the U.S. Army through the 2-year early commissioning program. The ECP at NMMI is one of only 4 programs in the country that commissions lieutenants in 2 years rather than the traditional 4. During my time on active duty, I had the opportunity to serve as an assistant professor of military science at Georgia Military College. And of all my assignments, I can truly say that one was my most rewarding assignment. I had some time as recruiting operations, making sure that we brought the right students into the program. And then my boss noticed that I had a unique talent as far as the training piece. So I was elected to train the MS-3s, and that was our core group that we sent to the camp during the summer, and they needed the best training. So again, that was probably the best assignment I ever had in my life. The goal of all of our ECP schools is to develop select young men and women who exhibit character and maturity to earn a commission in a compressed time frame. Each of you has demonstrated the ability to complete this arduous program. You have learned the value of trust and teamwork, developed your leadership attributes, and displayed the ability to prioritize to achieve success. And again, congratulations to you all, 25 individuals here today. Throughout your time at NMMI, you have been challenged both physically and mentally through a variety of training events and activities. You have completed military training during the summer while proudly representing New Mexico Military Institute. You are accepting your commission today because you have dedicated yourself to a life of leadership and selfless service. This is an exciting time to be an officer in the United States Army. Let me offer some tips you might want to consider as you report to your units. First, though you are an officer and outrank every soldier in your unit except the other officers, don't think rank automatically makes you smarter than everyone else. Listen to the advice from your non-commissioned officers. Sometimes you won't agree with their advice, but you should solicit their advice and conduct analysis before making a final decision. Another group of individuals you should listen to is your warrant officers. The warrant officer is your expert technician with many years of experience, and I guarantee you our maintenance and automation systems are more effective with their involvement. Next one, treat all soldiers with dignity and respect. If you can remember anything that I say today, try to remember this one thing. Again, treat all soldiers with dignity and respect. Focus on your readiness. Monitor and track the personal readiness of your soldiers. Make training a priority. Good training does not just happen, it is planned. Evaluate the maintenance of your unit's equipment. Make sure you spend time on property accountability. You have to check to ensure inventories are being conducted and that corrective action is taken on discrepancies found. As leaders, I encourage you to take care of soldiers and their families. Take the time to make yourself a list of all the soldiers in your unit with some key data on each of them: marital status, number of dependents, their date of rank and promotion date. Pull out your list occasionally and study it. Add to it, and use that information to help you get to know your personnel and their needs better. I want to reiterate the fact this graduation date of May 17th is now a significant date in your military career. I'd like the 25 commissionees to please rise. Can you stand up for me? The mission of NMMI is to educate, train, and prepare young men and women to be leaders capable of critical thinking and sound analysis, leaders who possess uncompromising character, and leaders able to meet challenging physical demands. This group meets the NMMI mission statement perfectly. Guys, I can't think of a finer group. And again, I'm very proud and honored to be able to be in your presence today. Please take your seats. Our enemies fear us. Why? Because of young men and women like the ones you just saw in front of you. Ability to take the initiative and think outside the box. I've been to a lot of different places in my 23 years, many different countries, and had an opportunity to talk to many different officers, both officer and enlisted. And one thing that the members from the other countries always mention and bring up is, hey, they're not so fearful sometimes about the military equipment we have, but the actual minds of our soldiers, the intelligence of our soldiers. Hey, that's the one thing that they truly fear. Our guys, that they're able to think outside the box and make those decisions to save lives. And they're just unpredictable. So again, continue that fashion for us. I guess this is to the commissionees. I was trying to keep it a little light, thinking about a little something, but I'd like to share some personal memories I had at NMMI that you might be able to relate to. I guess the first one is my rat haircut. I don't know if you can remember that, but that first day I looked in the mirror, I said, man, I'm not as good looking as I thought I was. But I'll tell you, once I got over that, everything started to come together for me at New Mexico Military. Limited free time. I never got to use the bowling alley. I don't know if anyone ever actually got to throw some games on the bowling alley, but I didn't. Sleeping on top of my blanket so that I did not have to make it in the morning. I think I was one of the few cadets that was able to go through 2 years of the program and keep my hospital corners pretty tight. One thing I remember is just how beautiful the campus is, and I remember, the view of the full moon from outside and inside the box. Many times looking up thinking, wow, hey, this is truly a special place. And then I guess finally, struggling with American military history. I don't know if any of you guys had any problem with that, but 32 years ago I had a rough time. That was one of the hardest classes, okay? Some advice I'd like to leave you guys with, and again, it's nice having everyone in the audience be able to hear this, but for those new cadets getting ready for their future, okay? Hey, this is as far as your follow-on assignment. When I say follow assignment, follow-on schools. Talked to a couple of you before the commissioning here today, and you're still undecided. A few of you have already locked in your schools for the upcoming school year, which is great. But the one thing I can point out to you, attend all your classes. When I transferred from New Mexico Military, I ended up going to University of Georgia in Athens. I ended up missing one class, but I can't even say I missed that one class. Again, I established good relationship with all my instructors, made sure that they knew I cared. This instructor actually called me in my dorm room. Couldn't believe the phone was ringing about 7:30 in the morning. And she's like, hey, where are you? And I'm thinking, wow, where am I? I didn't know where I was. So I pulled on a T-shirt real quick, got on my running shoes and jolted across campus. Ran in there in a full sweat. All the other students were kind of, clapping me in as I came through the door, laughing at me a little bit. But I remember just the importance of attending all your classes. Okay, so if you can do that, guarantee you'll be successful. The second one that I recommend to you right now is report to your gaining school PMS and explain to him or her, the asset that you are as far as how you can help their program. Now, if that's helping them conduct their PT, their rifle marksmanship, their drill and ceremony, hey, you've all got some special talents. You need to make sure you go there and identify yourself so you're not a ghost. And when you finish your senior year, he's never seen you. So make sure you check in with your gaining PMS. And then third, associate yourself with quality individuals. Do not allow others to derail your goals and dreams. Just like you've done here at New Mexico Military, put others around you that have like goals and dreams. Do not get derailed by someone else. Two tragic events that happened, that shaped my life while I was attending NMMI. Okay, one day was coming back to the box. At this time, it was a little different. We had television, computers were up and coming, and there were no cell phones at that time. But we heard about the space shuttle, the Challenger, the explosion on 28 January, 1986. That week, I learned not to live in fear and to reach for my goals. My NMMI family helped me and all the cadets come to terms with the 7 loss that day. That was a significant event when I was here at school. The second event was one of our ECP cadets from Hawaii, losing his life in a traffic accident before commissioning, returning from the bottomless lakes. And I'm going to briefly discuss, what happened the night before. I was a student that when I was here, I liked to stay in good physical conditioning, knowing that down the road, that was going to take out about half of the problems I might encounter in the military, making sure that I was in good physical conditioning. I used to go to the track when it was over, behind the box. I've converted it into a beautiful football field. But I used to run every evening like clockwork. I believe the time was between 10:30. You had some time off. So I would already have my clothes on, be done with my studies, and I'd be heading to the track. I remember there was this guy out there. He was one of our ECP cadets also. Didn't talk to him much, but this was the individual from Hawaii. I just admired this guy. I'd see him in the gym, a lot bigger than I was, and benched a lot of weight. All the people seemed to like him. All the girls matriculated toward him. He was just the friendliest guy. All the Hawaiians, matter of fact, they've just got that special knack of being very open and warm-hearted. But I remember seeing him, and I remember thinking to myself, hey, I wish I could be like that guy. And I remember it wasn't too long after finishing that run that night, he came up to me. I was doing my cool down. At that time, I think I was just walking around. I was pretty much exhausted from my little run there. And he said to me, he said, hey, something to eat? And he said, I wish I was like you. And that made me think a little bit that night, because I said to myself, wow, this whole time I've been wanting to be like this guy. And he saw something in me where, he was like, hey, I want to be like that guy. So with that said, the next morning, we had school, we went to class, and then that afternoon I found out he lost his life. And I often reflect back on 32 years, and I'm thinking, I wonder what that guy could have done with his life. So all the future commissionees, and make sure you make the right decisions and do the right things so that you're able to contribute to society your fullest. I recently attended a family funeral in Florida. I'm down there for Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and it was very interesting. The speaker there at the funeral home said something that, I remember caught my attention. Everyone has a start date, followed by a dash. And I was thinking, what does this mean, followed by a dash? Okay. And then an end date. So start of your life and then an end to your life, followed by a dash. And I remember just saying, what is your dash? What is it all about? And what is it going to say about your life? And hopefully you can make a difference in someone else's life. And again, you see that reflected all throughout the school here. General Grizzle, he's a fine example. This soldier / president of the school, he leads by example. An example I can think of that was a significant impact for at least my daughter. He went out of his way to fly to Kansas to watch the women's volleyball team compete up there. He takes the time to get to know the students. He knew my daughter was from Florida. And I guess, if anything, that means more to me, than anything, knowing that, our sons and daughters, when they come to New Mexico military, that they're going to be well taken care of. For the class of 2019, I challenge your commissioning class to stay close and to share lessons learned as you navigate a wonderful experience as an Army officer. Hopefully you guys can set up some kind of a media, I don't know if it's going to be Facebook or whatever, but you guys make sure you get everyone's email addresses and stay close. I had some outstanding cadets that I went to school with. I can remember my roommates real well. I can remember my suite mates, and one in particular, Thomas Bump. He's a two-star with the New Mexico National Guard, and every single one of the people on the bottom stoop of Delta Company, ended up being very successful in their life, and I contribute that all to being a cadet while here at New Mexico Military. And again, I promised you guys I would keep it short, because again, I'm that one, keeping you between gold bars, and I guess I'm more excited than you are as far as having the opportunity to present to my daughter and to watch the other commissionees go forward today. But in closing, I want to wish all of you continued success as you pursue your bachelor's degree at a follow-on university. Expand the knowledge and skills you have obtained here at NMMI to solve problems and become an effective leader in the near future. God bless all of you, and especially all of our brave men and women in uniform who are in harm's way, protecting our way of life. Duty, honor, achievement. Thank you.
Sir, thank you for honoring us with your presence today and for your counsel and challenge to our commissionees. Cadet Eaton will now present a gift from this year's commissioning class to Lieutenant Colonel, United States Army retired, Eaton.
On the behalf of Gary Owens Squadron, we'd like to present this frame of New Mexico Military Institute signed by all of the commissioning cadets.
Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to please refer to your programs as we recognize the commissionees by name. Marie Ailey, Distinguished Military Student. She will continue her education at Utah State University in Utah and will be assigned to the U.S. Army Reserve. Caleb Allen. He will continue his education at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Arizona and be assigned to the Arizona National Guard. Christopher Bloomquist. He will continue his education at Norwich University in Vermont and be assigned to the Vermont National Guard. Jackson Bren. He will continue his education at the University of Iowa in Iowa and be assigned to the Iowa National Guard. Estrella Brown. She will continue her education at the University of Texas El Paso in Texas and be assigned to the New Mexico National Guard. Jason Brumley. He will continue his education at Texas Tech University in Texas and be assigned to the Texas National Guard. Rebecca Burns, Distinguished Military Student. She will continue her education at Norwich University in Vermont and be assigned to the Vermont National Guard. Jordan Carrick. He will continue his education at Colorado State University in Colorado and be assigned to the U.S. Army Reserve. Levi Crowell, Distinguished Military Student. He will continue his education at Texas Tech University in Texas and be assigned to the Texas National Guard. Rebecca Eaton, Distinguished Military Student. She will continue her education at Syracuse University in New York and be assigned to the New York National Guard. Trey Eldridge. He will continue his education at the University of Hawaii in Manoa and be assigned to the Hawaii National Guard. Dayton Harris. He will continue his education at New Mexico State University and be assigned to the New Mexico National Guard. Sean Hecht. He will continue his education at the University of Iowa and be assigned to the Iowa National Guard. Antonio Lopez, distinguished military student. He will continue his education at Norwich Military University in Vermont and be assigned to the Vermont National Guard. Jupi Terry Carrie Anna Lotulele, distinguished military student. She will continue her education at the University of Nevada in Nevada and be assigned to the Nevada National Guard. Reina Miranda, distinguished military student. She will continue her education at Metropolitan State University of Denver in Colorado and be assigned to the Colorado National Guard. Dominic Nunez. He will continue his education at the University of New Mexico and be assigned to the New Mexico National Guard. Christian Padilla, distinguished military student. He will continue his education at Syracuse University in New York and be assigned to the New York National Guard. Mark Pollock. He will continue his education at Texas Tech University and be assigned to the Texas National Guard. Amanda Say, distinguished military student. She will continue her education at New Mexico State University and be assigned to the New Mexico National Guard. Adam Stone. He will continue his education at Norwich University in Vermont and be assigned to the Vermont National Guard. Spencer Treat. He will continue his education at New Mexico State University and be assigned to the New Mexico National Guard. Rafael Urbina. He will continue his education at the University of Maryland, College Park, and be assigned to the Maryland National Guard. Michael Van Hoven, distinguished military student. He will continue his education at Hofstra University in New York and be assigned to the New York National Guard. Willie White. He will continue his education at Texas A&M University, Central Texas, and be assigned to the Texas National Guard. The following cadet will commission at a later date: Jacob Galvan. The following cadets will commission upon completion of advanced camp at Fort Knox, Kentucky this summer: Jaden Sims and Tristan Threlkill. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the oath of office administered by Lieutenant Colonel Johnson. Attention to orders. Please be seated. You guys want to leave? One of the most memorable experiences of newly commissioned officers is having their gold bars pinned on by family and friends, followed by the first salute from an enlisted service member. Tradition dictates that upon receipt of their very first salute, the new lieutenant presents the enlisted soldier that saluted them with a silver dollar. Although the exact origins of the tradition have faded into history, It is believed to have come to us from the British Army. By tradition, the silver dollar is the only coin given in exchange for the first salute. This coin represents the deep felt gratitude for the mentorship and lessons imparted by the non-commissioned officer on their lieutenant before he sends them out into the world, embarking in the brotherhood and profession of arms. The salute also represents formal recognition by the soldier of the transition from cadet to officer, and the silver dollar signifies the officer's acceptance of their new responsibility. Our new officers will now be pinned with their second lieutenant bars by family and friends, and also receive their first salute from an enlisted member of the military. For those who are participating in the bar pinning ceremony for the officers on the stage, please come and join them. If you would like to take pictures, you are more than welcome to come forward. Second Lieutenant Ailey's bars will be affixed and pinned by her mother and father, Kelly and Miles. She will receive her first salute from Sergeant First Class Sasha Sween. Second Lieutenant Allen's bars will be affixed and pinned by his mother and father, Stephanie and Cody. He will receive his first salute from Sergeant United States Army retired Nathan Gershermer. Second Lieutenant Bloomquist's bars will be affixed and pinned by his mother and father, Anita and Tim. He will receive his first salute from Sergeant First Class Tanya Turner. Second Lieutenant Bryn's bars will be affixed and pinned by his uncle, Colonel, U.S. Army retired Scott Keeley. He will receive his first salute from his mother, Staff Sergeant, United States Air Force, Dawn Bryn. Second Lieutenant Brown's bars will be affixed and pinned by her mother and father, Luce and former U.S. Army Specialist Willie Brown. She will receive her first salute from her father, former United States Army Specialist Willie Brown. Second Lieutenant Brumley's bars will be affixed and pinned by his mother and father, Sonia and Jason. He will receive his first salute from Sergeant First Class Tanya Turner. Second Lieutenant Burns' bars will be affixed and pinned by her friend Monica Munoz and instructor, former United States Army Staff Sergeant Terry Wagner. She will receive her first salute from Sergeant First Class Leslie Soto. Now, Lieutenant Colonel Johnson and Master Sergeant Harris will present the new lieutenants with the Gary Owen coin and their commissioning certificate. For those who are participating in the bar pinning ceremony for the officers on stage, please come and join them. Second Lieutenant Carrick's bars will be affixed and pinned by his mother and father, Susan and Grant. He will receive his first salute from his brother, Sergeant Andrew Carrick. Second Lieutenant Crowell's bars will be affixed and pinned by his father, Grant, and uncle, Carr Newkirk. He will receive his first salute from Sergeant First Class United States Army retired Christopher Bosamle. Second Lieutenant Eaton's bars will be affixed and pinned by her mother and father, Helene and Frederick. She will receive her first salute from former Sergeant United States Army Valerie Brosamle. Second Lieutenant Eldridge's bars will be affixed and pinned by his mother and father, Tomoyo and Andre. His first salute will be rendered at a later date by CW4 United States Navy retired Lou Colazzo. Second Lieutenant Harris's bars will be affixed and pinned by his mother and father, Janine and Barry. He will receive his first salute from Master Sergeant Timothy Harris. Second Lieutenant Heck's bars will be affixed and pinned by his mother, Yvonne Suter, and sisters Marcela Suter and Captain Fabienne Suter. He will now receive his first salute from Master Sergeant Timothy Harris. Lieutenant Colonel Johnson and Master Sergeant Harris will present the new lieutenants with the Garryon coin and their commissioning certificate. For those who are participating in the bar pitting ceremony for the officers on the stage, please come and join them. Second Lieutenant Lopez's bars will be affixed and pinned by his father, Staff Sergeant, United States Army retired, Ascension Lopez. He will receive his first salute from his father, Staff Sergeant, United States Army retired, Ascension Lopez. Second Lieutenant Lotulele's bars will be affixed and pinned by her mother, Salu, and sister, Lorenza.
Yes, sis.
She will receive her first salute from her brother, Staff Sergeant Jonathan Wright. Second Lieutenant Miranda's bars will be affixed and pinned by her mother, Chanel, and sister, Anya. She will receive her first salute from her father, Specialist U.S. Army Vern Miranda. Second Lieutenant Nunez's bars will be affixed and pinned by his mother and father, Christina and Gary. He will receive his first salute from Sergeant Kim Wiggins. Second Lieutenant Padilla's bars will be affixed and pinned by his mother and father, Gabriela Padilla and Paul Avila. He will receive his first salute from Petty Officer First Class, United States Navy retired John Pyle. Second Lieutenant Pollux Spars will be affixed and pinned by his mother and father, Becky and Mark. He will receive his first salute from Sergeant First Class Tanya Turner. Lieutenant Colonel Johnson and Master Sergeant Harris will present the new lieutenants with the Gary Owen coin and certificate of commissioning. For those who are participating in the bar pitting ceremony for the officers on the stage, please come and join them. Second Lieutenant Say's bars will be affixed and pinned by her grandmother Janice Sullivan and father Sergeant First Class U.S. Army retired Jeffrey Say. She will receive her first salute from her father, Sergeant First Class U.S. Army retired Jeffrey Say. Second Lieutenant Stone's bars will be affixed and pinned by his friends, Cadet Adam Munn and Samantha Scanlon. He will receive his first salute from Sergeant First Class Tanya Turner. Second Lieutenant Treat's bars will be affixed and pinned by his mother and father, Diana and Bernard. He will receive his first salute from Staff Sergeant Emiliano Villarreal. Second Lieutenant Urbina's bars will be affixed and pinned by his mother, Eileen Reyes, and father, Lieutenant Colonel Rafael Urbina. He will receive his first salute from Sergeant First Class Jose Corral. Second Lieutenant Van Hoven's bars will be affixed and pinned by his father, Major, United States Army retired, Michael Van Hoven, and sister, Michaela. He will receive his first salute from Sergeant First Class Tanya Turner. Second Lieutenant White's bars will be affixed and pinned by his mother, Tamika White, uncle, Sergeant Major, U.S. Army retired, Mark Kirkland, and cousin, Shatoria Kirkland. He will receive his first salute from his uncle, Sergeant Major, United States Army retired, Mark Kirkland. Lieutenant Colonel Johnson and Master Sergeant Harris will present the new lieutenants with the Gary Owen coin and certificate of commissioning. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in a round of applause for all of our new second lieutenants. Please stand for the playing of the Army Song. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the commissioning ceremony. Please join us outside at Pixie Field for refreshments and the cutting of the cake. We deem this area a no salute area except for general officers.